So guys, NBC sportscaster Maria Taylor recently sat down with A.J. Brown for an exclusive interview inside A.J. Brown's own home, where he had a Patriots rug sitting on the floor. That right there tells you everything. But that is not even the crazy part. What A.J. Brown actually said in that interview, I had to pause, I had to go back and listen again. And the moment I heard it, one thing became very clear to me. The Eagles were absolutely right to trade him, no question about it. I'm going to break down exactly what A.J. Brown said, what it really means for this Eagles team, and what it tells us about everything that went down last season. And then we are going to talk about who steps up as a captain of the team now that A.J. Brown is gone. What's up, Birds Gang? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Eagles. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So in that interview, Maria Taylor asked A.J. Brown a burning question every Eagles fan wanted to know. Was he on purpose using the media to call out internal team issues? And A.J. Brown looked right into that camera and said yes, he was doing it on purpose, not for personal gain, but as a smart tactic to put pressure on his own locker room and force them to get better. Now, he admitted he was doing it on purpose. He knew that if he threw certain things out to the media, it would create immediate pressure. And now look, I hear what he is saying, I understand the logic, but here is where I have a real problem with it. Jalen Hurts was sitting in press conferences all season long, taking questions, taking heat, defending this offense, defending this team, and the whole time, one of his own captains was quietly going to the media and adding fuel to that fire. That is not leadership. That is not pushing your team to be better. That is putting one man in a very unfair position, and that man was your quarterback.
And here is what makes it worse. A.J. Brown was not just any player in that locker room. He was a captain. The players voted him captain 3 times in a row, 3 years straight. And he used that position, that trust, to go outside the building and say things that made the outside noise louder. That is the part that I cannot get past. Because there's a massive difference between what you say in a press conference and what you say behind the scenes to a media person. One is public, one is private. And when you go private, when you go behind closed doors and start feeding stories, you are not pushing your team. You are putting a target on your teammates. And the Philadelphia media ran with every single one of those stories. Stories about Jalen Hurts being on the hot seat. Stories about the passing game being broken. Stories about the offense going backwards. And now we are sitting here finding out that some of that noise had a source inside the building. And I haven't even gotten to the most important part yet. Because what A.J. said about his relationship with Hurts is something every Eagles fan needs to hear. Maria Taylor asked him directly, "How is your relationship with Hurts right now?" And A.J. said, "Not as close as we once were." He said there is no bad blood, he still loves him, but he also admitted that they had been drifting apart for a couple of years now, not months, years. So let me ask you something. If you and your starting quarterback have been drifting apart for 2 years, and instead of fixing that relationship, you are going to the media to create pressure, what exactly are you trying to push? Because it does not feel like you are pushing the team closer together. It feels like you are pushing your own frustration out the door and onto the public. And A.J. even admitted this himself. At the end of the interview, he said the biggest lesson he learned in Philadelphia was telling the truth out of season is worse than a lie. His words, not mine. He said not everything needs to be said, even if you feel like it is best.
That right there is a man who knows he went too far. That right there is a man who looks back at what he did and realized it was not right. And I respect him for saying it, genuinely. But Eagles fans need to understand what that admission actually means for everything we went through last season. Now, this all means that the noise was not all coming from outside. Some of it was coming from inside, and that source is finally gone. But look, let's not just talk about what we lost. We have to talk about what comes next. And honestly, this is the part of the conversation that actually gets me excited. The Eagles need captains. Real captains. And the question right now is who those men are going to be in 2026. Here is the thing people are missing. A.J. being gone is not just about losing a wide receiver. It is about losing a voice. And when you remove that voice, somebody else has to step up and fill that space. The question is, who does it the right way? And I keep coming back to this. The Eagles already have the right people in that building. They do not need to go outside and find leaders. The leaders are already there. They just need the space to lead. Start with Hurts. Everything goes through him. He is your captain, your franchise, your identity. And honestly, after everything he dealt with last season, after absorbing all that outside pressure while his own teammate was quietly making it worse, Hurts never cracked publicly. He never threw anybody under the bus. He stayed professional every single week. That is the kind of man you want leading your football team. And now that the AJ is gone, now that the locker room does not have that tension sitting in the middle of it, Jalen Hurts gets to lead this team on his own terms. And I think we are going to see a completely different version of this offense because of it. Then you look at Saquon Barkley, coming off one of the greatest rushing seasons any Eagles running back has ever had. That man earned everything he got last year, and he earned the respect of every single person in that locker room. When Barkley speaks, people listen. That is the kind of presence you need in a captain. Then you look at Devonta Smith, quiet, consistent, professional, never in the drama, never in the noise, just going to work every single week. Smith is everything you want in a captain because he does not talk about it. He just does it. And in a locker room that just went through a messy public situation, having a man like Devonta Smith setting the standard every day means everything. And then you have Zach Bond on the defensive side, coming off an absolutely remarkable season. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody gave him that kind of credit going into last year, and he just went out there and proved everybody wrong. That is a chip on your shoulder. That is Eagles mentality right there. Cooper DeJean moving to safety, young, athletic, playing with confidence. The future of this defense has a face, and that face belongs to Cooper DeJean. And you cannot talk about captains without mentioning Lane Johnson, one of the greatest Eagles offensive linemen of all time. This man has been in this building through everything. He knows what winning looks like here. He knows what losing feels like here. And when things get hard during the season, because they always do, you want Lane Johnson in that locker room, reminding everybody what Eagles football is supposed to look like. These are your leaders. These are your captains. And here is what I love about this group. Not one of them needs to go to the media to create pressure. Not one of them needs to feed stories to make their teammates work harder. They lead by showing up and doing the work every single day. That is the standard this team is going back to. Now, this 2026 Eagles team is going to come in hungry. They're going to come in focused, and they're going to come in with a locker room that actually trusts each other. No drama, no media games, no tension between the captain and the quarterback. Just Jalen Hurts leading this offense, Vic Fangio running this defense, and a group of men who actually want to be here and want to win together. Eagles Nation, I am telling you right now, the best days of this team are still ahead, and it starts with a clean locker room and the right men wearing that captain patch. That's where I'm at with it, Eagles Nation. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now because we talk Eagles every single week, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. Fly, Eagles, fly.